Hi, I'm Dan Small, host of Outdoor Wisconsin, and I listen to Where to Hunt.
Nah, it's okay.
I'm Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bow Hunter. I listen to Where to Hunt podcast, and it's decent.
It's all right.
Hey, this is Bud Fisher with Catching Deers, and I think the Where to Hunt podcast is all right.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Where to Hunt podcast, the podcast that connects public land hunting enthusiasts, aka the OKist podcast in the Midwest, coming at you from the OKist Hunter podcast studio. By the way, go to okisthunter.com, use code W2H podcast for 10% off some swag. And man, I am all discombobbled today. So it's like borderline going to be a 100th episode. I just got to lose my voice.
Don't do that.
Oh boy. And we switched spots too, so like I'm dealing with like the everything's goofy. I got a new computer. I thought I'd be all set up and I'm not. So this time next week I'll be less frazzled.
That'll be good.
Yeah. I haven't even had time to pour a drink. I don't even know what to do. I don't have to like drink out of the bottle or something.
Nah, don't do that.
Oh boy. I could use it. Yeah, anyway. So Greg, are you even hunting or what are you doing?
I'm a little busy with work, so no, I just did sneak out and get a little bit of scouting in tonight right before dark, and then had some other errands to run, so I was going to try and hunt tomorrow, but it looks like I have to go in and do some product building, so kind of shot in the foot now. Maybe get out this weekend. I don't know. This season's not going the way I'd hoped it'd go, so it is what it is. It's better than last year. At least I got out and I actually took advantage of some of my opportunities this year.
Yeah, you definitely put some time in. Probably learned tons too. Well, some quick call outs here. Head on over to backwoodsgrind.com. You can use code W2H podcast. Save 10% on their coffee. I recommend starting with a sampler pack. Gumleaf USA, gumleafusa.com. Use code W2H2020. Well, it's still 2020, and you can get 10% off. I got a pair of their boots back there. Head on over to SpartanForge.ai. Use code W2H for 20% off of their subscription.
Wow, we moved up in the world, 20%er.
Yeah, and they're taking on new signups like it's a cat's meow, man. So the 20%, as far as I know, no one else is offering that discount. And there might be a couple folks like that are on their pro staff now, but I'm not sure if they have the 20%. So Vector Custom Shop, I know you're going to do theirs as well, but just to make sure I'm going down the list here.
You can do it. I mean,
yeah.
Vector Custom Shop. You're looking for a custom built to your spec arrow, go check out vectorcustomshop.com. When you figure out what you want to shoot, you can order a half dozen or a dozen after you've ordered a test pack of 2 arrows. And use code WHERE2HUNT at checkout, and it'll save you 10%.
Yeah, and they were just out with Beast Mode Archery and put down a doe.
Yes, they were. They were with Brian.
Good job, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Fleet Farm. What are they doing here? No, I'm just kidding. W2H10. You can do an online order, pick up in store, or just online altogether. Have it shipped to your house, whatever your heart desires. For the most part, there's some fine print things there, but W2H10 is going to save you 10% off at Fleet Farm. And then I'm going to have a code for these guys, but if I wasn't too crazy trying to get all this technology to work, I'd be pouring up a Drop Tine Spirits 12-point bourbon right now.
There you are.
So, but they're a Wisconsin-based company, so those folks that are here in Wisconsin with us, I know they're getting into more and more stores. So, pretty tasty stuff. I know some of our listeners have been dabbling with it. I think we covered everybody.
We did in record time.
Record time. We do have a guest online with us.
Who do we have?
We have a returning guest.
We do.
Our buddy Chris Hamm with HHA Sports and HHA USA. What's going on, Chris?
Well, it's a Tuesday night in December, and it feels like winter today.
Yeah, I guess it does. It does feel it's freaking cold.
For temps, but it was 9 degrees when I woke up this morning. So yeah,
it's like jumping in a cold pool for the boys.
We don't have any snow up here, so
No snow for you guys.
We don't have a lot of snow on the ground up here. No, just a little gusting, but I mean, it's pretty much gone in the woods and in the fields, so I wouldn't mind having another couple inches here to finish up the last 3 weeks of archery season and have a little snow on the ground. It's always nice. So.
Yeah, we have our share down here. I mean, over where I'm at, I bet we got at least 6 inches. So
Yeah, you guys just
got hit this weekend, right?
Yeah, well,
We
Greg
did.
did. I didn't. We got like 2 inches, if that, and Greg got slammed, I guess. And you're not that far from me, so.
no, but I'm just far enough south of the interstate where we apparently got that little bit of a squall that hung around. Don't know, but
Yeah, I was originally tracking that snowstorm, well, not a snowstorm, but whatever you want to call it, earlier in the week before the weekend, and it looked like we were going to get it, but then it went south, and we just got a few stray flurries, but nothing substantial. So.
Yeah, it hung out down by us. You missed out a little bit on it.
Did you get to use any of that snow to your advantage when you're doing some scouting tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Found the track that I was looking for. Found the direction that he's coming out of. So if by some miracle I do get to go out tomorrow night, or if it's Friday or whenever it is next, if nothing disappears or changes or somebody else doesn't pick up on that track, I feel confident that I'll be able to head back into that area and at least have a good idea where he's at. We'll see.
Well, it's good. It's good that you got him kind of figured out, hopefully, here.
Yeah, I never have him figured out.
A little bit. Chris, you said you got some stories.
Yeah, I hunted more this year than I probably have in the last decade, as far as number of sits in the woods. I keep a spreadsheet every year. I've been doing that for probably the last 10 or 12 years. And Sunday night, I was out for the last day of the 4-day doe season. That was my 55th trip to the woods this year.
Wow.
So I didn't start hunting. I hunted a little bit in early September because my target buck that I'm still chasing was showing himself in daylight. So I hunted maybe a handful of times in September, but most of that was from middle of October till now. So I've been putting in a lot of hours in my woods in the office, which is always a good thing. So, but no success with the bow yet. But I ended up Friday, the second Friday, or I guess it'd be the only Friday of rifle season. I shot a 3.5-year-old 9-pointer, about a 16-inch spread, not a giant, but a good deer. And after, I think that was my 50th sit of the year, so I was just getting a little bit of itchy trigger finger, and he came out about 5 minutes before dark, and it's like, you know what, he's a good one. I'm ready to put something on the tailgate, so I shot him, and then Sunday night I shot a doe. So got some meat in the freezer, but my target buck is still running around, and wouldn't you know it, I saw him, I think it was September 17th. It was the first Thursday of bow season, so my brother got a nice buck that morning, and that night I went out and sat and saw my target buck. He's basically a mainframe 10, but he's got some stickers on him. He's got 14 scoreable points. He's probably in the, I would say, low 150s, mid 150s maybe. Definitely an awesome buck. I would love to get my hands on him, but I saw him that night, and then I did not see him again until Friday of the doe season. Wouldn't you know it, he walked out with 2 other bucks and stood 100 yards from my redneck blind and basically just smiled at me and ate turnips for a half hour. So that was kind of a fine how do you do, but at least he's still around. So
Yeah, Greg, is your shooter still around?
To my knowledge, he's still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
14 scoreable points, Chris. I mean, 150-inch deer. That's a big animal in my book. I got a 2.5-year-old.
That's a big one in my book.
Yeah. The one I got, I'm like, whoa, it's the biggest buck I've got, but it's nothing like that.
Anybody would be proud to shoot a deer like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Man. So, okay, I guess, man, we haven't seen you in a while. We haven't talked in a while. The last time we had seen you was in Stevens Point-ish area. I forget the town specifically. It wasn't Stevens Point. It was like at Blackhawk Archery, right?
Yep.
At the shoot.
Oh man, it's not Polonia. It's
Plover. Plover?
No.
oh man,
It's Polonia.
yeah, it's Polonia.
It's Polonia.
Yeah. How did that event end up turning out for you guys?
that was good. I mean, that was our biggest fundraiser of the year. I think we made over 10 grand at that one. So we ended up raising just over $60,000 this year for HHA USA.
Wow.
That was our eighth event of the season, and it was, we had a lot of donations and a lot of silent auction items that we wanted to blow out. So we ended up putting a lot of stuff out at that one and had a really, really good turnout. It was the first time we ever went there. I think I have to look back, but we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 110 or 115 shooters for the 2 days. So yeah, it was an awesome event. Obviously, you guys were there and did a podcast there with us and shot the course and just having a lot of fun with that whole thing. And what a great way to be able to give back and support our veterans here in Wisconsin, and then send a few veterans on hunts. And once this whole C word gets behind us, we can start flying veterans to DC on the honor flight again. So right now we're just sending our donations to the respective chapters that we support, and then 22%, our first 22% of those funds every year goes to the three other great pet organizations: E3 Ranch Foundation, that's run by Adam Roche, and then Wounded Warriors in Action, and the Neatstead Foundation. So those guys are all doing awesome things to help combat PTSD and get our vets out on hunts. So I'll be cutting those guys all a check for just a little bit more than $4 grand a piece here by the end of the year, and helping them out. And it's humbling to be able to serve those that have served us.
When you're doing it in such a fun way, I mean, honestly, come shoot your bow, and then it just happens to raise money for these organizations and these vets. Like, that's a win across the board. You could just put on an event for nothing and people would show up. It's like, yeah, it's so cool. And I know it's like your baby, right?
It is. I mean, obviously, my number one job is to still do my thing at HHA and help to run that with my brother and the rest of our team. That's my day job. But my side passion is this veterans thing, and I've been really fortunate to be able to, pass off some of my duties at HHA to the point where now I've got to, there's some days I'm not going to lie to you. There's days I work 8, 9, 10 hours a day, but then sometimes in the off season when it's not super busy, I might only have 3-4 hours worth of work to do, so then I can put 5 to 6 hours a day into my vet stuff, whether it be talking to our sponsors or scouting out new locations, or just I run all of our social media for that too. So, but it's a great cause. We're very fortunate to have so many like-minded people in our industry that see the value in being a part of what we're doing and supporting us in it. And excited to see where it goes in 2021. So
yeah, you navigated 2020 well, considering the keyword that we shall not say. What is as much as is forecastable, what does the horizon look like for 2021 for the company and the nonprofit?
I mean, as long as we're still talking HHA USA, I'll kind of give you just a 30,000-foot view of that. So, I mean, our plan was to do 12 shoots in 2021. We picked up a few new venues, and Chain Lake Conservation Club, which is in Wapaka, that's a huge shoot. That they do that on holiday weekends. They do Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Last year we did 4th of July with them, and they liked us, and we liked them. And so this year we gave them that one back, and we're doing actually Memorial Day and Labor Day. So that's a shoot that gets 300 to 400 shooters over the course of a weekend. So that's a big deal. No offense to any of our other clubs, but we're kind of going to bookend our season at those two events, because unfortunately yesterday I did make the announcement on social media that we're, at least at this point, postponing our indoor stuff, which was 4 events, January, February, and March. So we're, as it stands right now, we're down to 8 events, all outdoor 3D stuff, starting in May and running through Labor Day weekend. But there's an off chance that, just depending on how things go and what the climate looks like in March or April, we may add in maybe a kind of a cabin fever 3D shoot here and there, just to kind of get people out of the house before the snow melts, and just kind of try something fun that way. So that's something I'm throwing around with my volunteers and my board of directors and stuff. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, between the event we went to and deer camp, those are the only 2 trips I've taken this year, except for pre-COVID. We went to the Dells. So it was nice to, like, you're right, Cabin Fever said, and it's going to be a whole new version of that this year. I'll be happy to go wherever the hell I can with a bow in my hand to come shoot and support vets. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just, you know, I was, because one of our archery shops in the state that we were going to have a shoot at this year just messaged me and just said, you know, with the restrictions, it didn't really make sense. And I get it. I mean, I don't like it, but I understand it. And, you know, when you can only have 25% capacity, it doesn't really jive well with trying to have a fundraiser where you're trying to pack the place.
Right.
So indoor events for 2021 are going to be most likely going to be non-existent at this point, but, I hope we can find some 3D targets that are fun or friendly to pull arrows out of in March and April if the weather's still 20 or 30 degrees outside. So I think both sites, I don't make targets, so that's something I'm going to have to go and play with myself and talk to some of these clubs. But it would be really neat to have just a mini 2 or 3 3D shoots, you know, on consecutive weekends or something, tying them all together and call it like the Cabin Fever series. That's my daydream right now. We'll see if that happens or not, but that could potentially pop up here sometime in March or April. I've already been talking to a couple clubs about it. So
Sounds like a good time.
well, and I think at that point, I mean, there's, you know, turkey hunting is going to be coming up, and you know, granted, a lot of guys do that with shotguns. There's a few of them that do it with bows and arrows. So who doesn't want to get out of the house, especially if we're all locked up again for 3 months and well, let's go put on our snowshoes and grab our bows and have some fun. Who knows what'll happen? So,
Absolutely.
Snowshoes and bows, the Cabin Fever shoot. Sounds pretty great. It's not an Olympic event, although there might be some Olympic drinkers there to stay warm.
right.
That's great. Good stuff. So what's going on with HHA sports? Like, where, I know there's some things you can't tell us, so, you know, don't. I don't expect you to, but, you know, this is the first season where I got to shoot it's the Optimizer. And right, Greg, is the Optimizer the one I know I've had 2 of them, so I don't want to get them mixed up because the other one I had was
I think you probably had an Optimizer.
You had an Optimizer. We have Tetras now.
Thank you. Okay. Yep. Crossing some wires. So good thing I say the dumb stuff so then we can all correct me. Then people know what the hell we're actually talking about. But no, I did have the Optimizer, and you know, I never got to draw back on an animal with that. I did get to shoot it a bunch, and that's a great sight. The Tetra is a whole nother league. The ease of use to just spin it right to the spot where you want it. The sighting in was really easy. I set it in with new arrows too. I used the vector arrows, so they're heavy, so it was fun to compare that to the other arrows I was shooting, which you know, the vectors just drop like a rock. In contrast, so, you know, again, getting it set up, I was at a buddy's farm and we were just lobbing arrows, and it was just really easy to set up, and the accuracy is great. I don't know. I'm very happy with it. Very happy.
Good to hear. Yeah, no, we had a good year overall, all things considered. I mean, we did get shut down for 2 months from, you know, middle of March until the day after Memorial Day, so that was a killer. It's impossible to get those days on the calendar back when it comes to, you know, manufacturing and machining and assembly. So we spent the 6 months after Memorial Day trying to play catch up and never quite got there. And I hated the fact that we, you know, kind of closed our year out, even though, you know, it's only December, our fiscal year, and October 31st. I mean, we weren't able to fill every order that came in, and that was frustrating. I don't like seeing dollars come in and not seeing them go out, but, you know, how do you make time come back? So, I mean, the demand is there, and knock on wood, hopefully no more shutdowns in 2021. We're cautiously optimistic that we're going to have a really good 2021. I mean, the demand for our product is there. The demand in general for archery is there. I mean, people can't do a lot of other stuff. So, and I think I didn't coin this term, but a lot of people have said, you know, archers were social distancing before social distancing was cool. So,
right.
It seems to be a lot of that going on. So, we're very, very fortunate to, you know, have the following that we do, and it just seems like there's just more and more people gravitating towards our brand and our style of site. So we're excited, and we are launching some new product here in about another probably 30 days, right around the time that ATA would have happened. The ATA show got canceled for for this year, along with most of the rest of the trade shows. But we'll have a new product launch coming on social media the early part of January. So we're excited about that too, kind of getting back into a category that we haven't been in for a while. So.
Ooh, all right. You dropped a little tidbit there, so we'll have to all be mindful and pay attention in January. It's cool that you guys are staying on task or on point with the timeline of like the traditional ATA show, and that you guys are still kind of in that cadence. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if other companies are or are not. I'd imagine yes, but maybe some of them are like, well, hell, it's not. There's no ATA. Forget it. You know, it's really cool that you guys are still right in line with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bow companies are still dropping their new bows when they normally would, and so those are being sold, and when people buy new bows, they want new trinkets to go on it. So we're a little behind the eight ball. I'd like to be about a month further ahead than we are, but just with the fact that this is just a little bit of the residual from being behind. We've only got a limited amount of resources as far as machining goes, so it's tough to turn out prototypes for new stuff when you're trying to make stuff that people have had on order for a few weeks. So
how crazy is it too? So one of the listeners, Bill Thompson, just said he was just asking, is the ATA and SHOT Show canceled? I think the answer is yes for both, but what a world we're living in where the biggest shows in the country that touch our industry are canceled. Are they even doing anything to make up for it virtually at all?
Yeah, ATA is going to have a virtual show, so we're participating in that. So, and I mean, some of these other shows, maybe that your listeners aren't as familiar with, some of the dealers are part of buying conglomerates where they, there might be several hundred dealers that are part of a buy group. So then there's other shows around the country. And some of those are seasonal. They have spring and fall shows. So like the spring show will typically be for fall goods and vice versa. So one of those buy groups already had virtual shows back in the, August, September, when those would have typically been going on. So I think they've kind of rehearsed the model and they know it. And I mean, I'm confident that we're still going to be able to get our product out to the dealers and convey that to them, even though we're not going to be able to see them face to face. We do have traveling sales reps that are going to be able to do that. And we still send a catalog out, and obviously you'll be able to see all the stuff on the website. But it's hard to beat, even in the virtual world that we live in the era of technology. It's nice to actually touch something and say, yeah, I want to buy 6 of these and bring them into my shop. But I think people have enough confidence in our brand and our quality that this new product that we're coming up with, I think, is going to be a hit. So.
Yeah, I would agree. The fact that you're already positioned as a market leader puts you in a strong position. If you were just trying to come up right now, I think it'd be kind of like, this is really challenging, especially based on the fact that you're right. People want to.
I was just talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend today about that, and he just asked about my thoughts on the show, and I said, I say this in the humblest way possible. I'm not being arrogant when I say this, but I think we're going to be okay. I feel bad for the new up and coming companies that maybe people aren't as familiar with, that, because there's always, every year at ATA, there's 1 or 2 of those new companies that kind of come out of nowhere, and people are like, oh man, you got to go to booth such and such and see this. Well, that's not going to happen this year, even though that can still happen in a virtual realm. It's nice to actually be on site and have it happen live and in real time, where you can actually go over and grab the thing and see what it is. So.
Yeah, man, I'm just my head just kind of swimming a little bit about it. That's, I was just thinking, I was talking to someone the other week about the OK Center, and we want to do trade shows, and we're not doing trade shows. There's no trade shows to do. And, what the heck, it is what it is. But no one can, so at least to some degree, unless some of them are virtual like you're talking about, but that changes things quite a bit. So I'm curious, let me know how that goes, the virtual stuff. Yeah. Is it still just not open to the public, right?
Right, yeah, no, it's just going to be dealer only. It's just going to be a virtual version of it. So yeah, it's not open to the public, but that's something that we were about a month into the shutdown. I mean, I had a lot of time to sit around on my couch and watch TV and do a lot of nothing, because there wasn't much going on when we got shut down. So that was one of the first things I thought of, is, man, if this thing doesn't turn around, what is 2021 going to look like? And I mentioned that to my brother and to Scott, my sales manager. I said, we have to basically plan like there's not going to be a trade show season next year, and start thinking in that vein now so that we're prepared for it. I mean, we've done the show thing enough that that's like falling off a log for us. It's, you just get the product samples and you get catalogs and you load up the truck and you go. But doing it virtually is a little bit of a different beast. But the technology's there, and like I said, our brand and our product quality is there. So I'm confident with that, and then with all the partners that we have to promote our new stuff and the existing line, I think, like I said, no shutdowns is all I'm praying for. And if we can stay open for 12 months of the year next year, I think we're going to be a lot happier now than we are now. Just those 2 months were kind of a killer and really set us back a little bit. And at the same time, I think most manufacturers are in that boat, and a lot of people got shut down. So.
Yeah, and supply chains just got, they got wreaked havoc on, and demand went way up, and you couldn't get stuff in time. I mean, I've heard that from so many folks in the space where it's like, yeah, as soon as we get inventory and it's gone before we even get it, I think, what was it? Hunting was up 12% in our state here in Wisconsin.
I believe so.
And if you just Google increase in... Here I go interrupting our guest. Oh my gosh.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you Google increase in hunters 2020, like every state is up. So I don't know what the holistic number is, but I do know that in Wisconsin, I think it was 12%. So it's just up everywhere, like you had called out a moment ago. And that demand has put a lot of stress on people when things have been shut down. It's like, a total it's a problem. It's a good problem, kind of, but not really. It's just challenging.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, I'm going to date myself a little bit. It's not quite as bad as the Cabbage Patch craze back in the 80s where you couldn't get those at Christmas time. It might not be that severe, but it's definitely, we had people that wanted our stuff this year that couldn't get it on time, and that frustrates me because they either are going to go to the shelf and buy brand X or they're going to wait till next year. So it is frustrating from a manufacturing standpoint when you have sales there and you can't satisfy them just because there's not enough hours in the day. But I would take that any day to having a warehouse full of product that nobody wants.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. And, but by the way, I'm going back to the ATA for 2 seconds. I don't want to belabor that too much, but hopefully the virtual event doesn't cost nearly as much as the in-person event. And you don't got to staff it. You don't got to trek, across the country. You don't got to fill a trailer full of stuff and a bunch of staff. And obviously the cost of a booth is really expensive. So maybe saving some of those dollars helps recoup some of the months you're shut down too.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I won't share dollars, but yeah, it's a fraction of the cost to do a virtual show than it is to do one in person. I mean, basically our complete show season for 2021 got wiped out. So, I mean, that's X amount right off of our budget, right off the top that we won't be spending this year. And then, you throw in the travel and the eats and treats and all that stuff. I mean, it's going to be a big saving. I'm curious what 2022 is going to look like. I mean, at some point we're going to get back to somewhere close to where we were before this whole mess started. And, assuming that manufacturers have a very successful season in the virtual reality for as far as the show sense goes, now all of a sudden October, November rolls around next year, and well, do we go back to the shows? Do we go back to in the same presence that we did? There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, I say this a lot, but I'm very thankful that we have the following and the loyalty and the success that we do, and I don't lose a lot of sleep over it because I know that everybody's playing by the same rules, and we kind of watch our own bobber and do what we do, and if we keep doing that, we're going to be successful. So.
That's a great analogy. Watch our own bobber. Everyone's playing by the same rules. I love it. Greg, what are you going to do with your bow in the off season? You got any plans for it? I know you're always tinkering. And since we're talking to HHA, I'm just wondering.
No, I'm actually considering keeping mine because mine's going to be 5 years old now. It's on its second string. I might actually, we'll see how things go. I might spin the wheel on another new bow. I don't know. We'll see. And then see what HHA comes out with a new sight and new rest, and maybe get that bow all set up with another HHA sight and rest if that's what I do.
What kind of bow would you be shopping for?
Whatever fits me best. I got a couple in mind. We'll see. We'll see how they shoot. I'm going to shoot probably the top 3 brands, in my opinion, what I feel are the top 3 brands that'll fit me. So, we'll see.
Chris, what are you shooting?
I am still shooting a Matthews Traverse right now.
I like that bow.
Yeah, I do too. I was going to get a new one last year, and they just, like everybody else, Matthews was they were as far behind as the rest of us, and so I didn't. I think my opportunity finally came up to get a new bow from those guys. I think in August or almost 1st of September, and I just told my buddy there. I said, "Well, at this stage in the game, I've been shooting my Traverse for the whole summer through these 3D shoots, and I was used to it and loving it." And I just said, I'm gonna sail with this one. Let me see what you got new for 2021. So I'll probably go to our local bow shop and shoot the new Matthews here in a couple of weeks, and end up with one of those at some point before spring 3D season starts. So
Yeah, their new flagship bow is pretty nice. That's one of them that's on my radar to go shoot and see how it is.
I've talked to a handful of dealers and heard good things about it so far. So.
What do you guys look for when you take what fits you? Obviously, it's got to fit you,
It's just
quite literally. But what types of factors of comfortability are you looking for in a bow?
Well, just when you pull it back, everything settles in, everything fits. I'm not fidgeting it around trying to adjust my grip. Everything is right where I need it to be. It's how you should be shooting any bow. You shouldn't go buy a Matthews just because you think Matthews is the best. Go buy a bow because it fits you right. And then there's other little adjustments that could be made to make it fit right too. There are aftermarket grips, but if I'm spending that kind of money on a bow, flagship bow, why should I have to drop another $80 to $120 on a grip or whatever it might be? I mean, to each his own. Everybody do what they want to do, but if you're going to spend that kind of money, it should, in my opinion, fit you right off the bat. So if a Matthews fits me perfect, just like my last one did, fine, I'll shoot another Matthews. If it's a Bear or a G5 or whatever it might be, I'll shoot one of them. I don't care.
Agnostic. I like it, Craig.
Well, I'd like to keep business in Wisconsin because that's where we're from, but if the bow doesn't fit me good, I'm not going to shoot it.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to shoot it well.
No, I'm not going to shoot it well.
What about you, Chris? What types of things do you look for in a bow in terms of comfortability? What is a good fit for you?
Well, I'm a taller guy. I'm 6'3", 6'4". So I gotta make sure I find something that fits my frame, and then I'm a big fan of a solid wall. So I don't like a spongy back wall on a bow. So those are probably the two biggest factors for me. So.
That's a term I haven't heard before. Go figure. Not hard to dupe me on something. Is that like when you get? Well, I'll let you explain.
Well, and I think a lot of this is, everything's improved in the last 10 to 15 years. I don't think there's a lot of those out there anymore. But I mean, most bows, when you get back to your settled in position, it's rock solid. There's no give in that string when you get back. When you're back, you're locked in and ready to roll, and it doesn't have a lot of bounce to the string basically. So
kind of like the old trucks, the steering wheel can wiggle a little bit, but on the new ones, it's pretty stiff.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Crazy. I don't know. I guess. I know, Greg, you got to set up in your basement. I feel like I got to be doing that. I can shoot in my garage, but that's cold, so I have enough room in the basement to do it. What are you doing to keep yourself kind of loose and well practiced?
You talking to me?
Well, I could be talking to you, but I'd like to hear what Chris is doing.
Let's hear what Chris is doing.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to admit this, but I don't think I've shot an arrow out of my bow probably since about the 15th of October. And with my target box still running around, I've got to get out and get a few arrows in. So I think I'm going to go up to our local range. They got an indoor 40-yard range, so I'm going to head over there one day this week and just give a little shooting in over there before I head back out into the blind here to take one last stab at getting my target box. So I don't have my basement's pretty much all finished. I don't have a big enough spot to shoot 20 yards in my basement. So
don't want to shoot that drywall. One of the listeners,
right?
One of the listeners commented. Actually, it's our friend Jeff. He said he's got the new Tetra and he runs the 4 X lens kit on a Matthews Traverse. He said he hunts with it. He also shoots target archery with it, and he really likes it. But he asked if there's any recommendations or tweaks for a competition setup with the Tetra.
I wonder if he's shooting the standard hunter version or if he's shooting the adjustable dovetail. I know a lot of the tournament guys will shoot that tournament edition dovetail that we've got. So,
well, Jeff, the number is on the screen if you want to call in and talk to Chris directly. Otherwise, if you want to respond to that in the comments, that'll work too. We'll see if he's got an answer for you there.
Yeah, Jeff, don't be a chicken.
Don't be a turkey.
We know Jeff real well.
Yeah, I mean, we gear most of our stuff towards the hunting public and the 3D crossover guys. We don't have a full blown tournament site per se, but your click adjust up and down. That's one realm we have yet to dive into. Not that we won't at some point, but we've been known for a lot of years as a kind of the premier single pin hunting site. And then when we launched that Kingpin 5 years ago, we came out with the tournament edition and the dovetail bar, so that grabbed a little bit of that market, but we don't have a full-blown tournament setup at this point. But I know there are a lot of guys that I see a lot of the tournament sites that are 3D shoots and even people shooting in spot leagues and stuff. So.
We got another question here. Look at the questions coming in here. Mike asks if he wants to get a rest for a bow. He wants to get, he's not sure a brand yet. Sorry, I'm trying to read this through a microphone. Am I better off to wait until I get a pinpoint? Sorry, I'm like struggling reading this. I'm getting, or is a standard one going to work just fine? Mike, I'm having a hard time reading what you put here. Let's see. I want to get a rest for a bow. I want to get, not sure what brand yet. I'm better off to wait until pinpoint which bow I'm getting. Oh, okay. Oh, so I think
he's probably he probably wants to buy our Virtus rest, and he's wondering if he should wait till he wants to figure out, because we have our Virtus rest has bow specific mounts. So if you buy a Bowtech, you buy a Bowtech rest, the Matthews, the Hoyt. So my recommendation to him, I mean, the standard one should fit on pretty much anything. So I mean, if he gets his bow and buys something other than one of those three brands, obviously the standard is the way to go. So.
So the Virtus didn't fit.
Leave that up to him.
It didn't fit my bear, but I have an older model. I know that didn't work for me.
Yeah, it was
works
rock
for you.
solid. Yeah, it's better than the quote unquote OEM Matthews drop away, which is pretty much a QAD, I think. But it fit much better. It's tighter fitting. There is no movement in it other than when you make the adjustments, where the one from Matthews, the QAD one, if any vibration loosened that bolt that went into the riser to hold it on, it could tip up or down. And I wasn't a big fan of that. So the Virtus was a huge improvement as far as being, locking into place. It fits my bow perfectly. I have no reason to switch. I like the rest.
Good deal. I like hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better than a Whisker Biscuit?
Yeah. There's always arguments for everything, keep it simple, stupid, but I don't know. I like this rest a lot, so
Good.
I'm going to continue to shoot it.
I don't even know which one I have, but it seems to work.
I think yours is an old ripcord. I used to have a ripcord on my old bow. One of the earlier drop away rests.
I was sad when you said the Virtus wouldn't go on my bow. I was like, wait, what? No.
Yeah,
So
it was for a Matthews, and I tried, when I took it apart, I looked at it, and there wasn't enough room there between that little peg that comes off of it to anchor it to the riser. There wasn't enough room there to make it work. So
yeah, I could have sent a standard bracket would have probably fit on that bow then. So that's why we make a standard version. The Matthews one is just machined more to specifically fit the Matthews risers. So
okay. I don't know, man. I've just been really impressed with everything you guys are doing. It's just the brand attachment I have to what you guys have now is pretty locked in. I'm not gonna sway into anything else. I just have no reason to.
No.
Like, you're in Wisconsin. We love talking to you. We've supported some of the event stuff. Like, the product is amazing. It just is amazing.
Product is great, and the fact that you're doing a lot for vets is huge. That's another big thing to hang your hat on.
We appreciate that. We don't take anything for granted, and obviously our freedoms are right up there. When I decided a few years back that I wanted to do something to give back, it was pretty easy. That was the first place to start. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited just to see what the future holds for that thing. I've got a lot of other ideas that I'd like to explore on how to have more of a national impact than just the state of Wisconsin. So we'll see where that goes eventually.
Baby steps.
One of the listeners, Alex, actually.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yep.
I think Alex was the winner of the Tetra from the last giveaway, and I was just messaging with him that it's shipping out, so he's pretty excited.
Yeah,
like it.
I apologize. I know you via text for the delay in that. We can't keep those things on the shelf, which is a good problem to have. So.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, you're not the only one, so it was like a lot of people, in totally different, like totally different segments. I don't want to call anybody out because I don't want to feel like
No, but we know a certain.
I know so many people that are
a
just
group of people with trail camera stuff. I can't believe like they can't keep up with demand, and they're having some issues, and they have a great product and they do a good job with their warranty and everything, but because of they call it the increase of popularity due to more hunters, or people are just tired of dealing with poorly designed or poorly supported product, they've moved on to another company that they found, and that's great for the company to gain in popularity. But then if the company can't grow with that, and again, we're in kind of a strange time with COVID, it's really messing things up. So I don't know, you'll still come out on top, I think, with after this is all done.
Did you guys see like a big spike in holiday sales too, Chris? Like were they? I feel like your stuff would make a good stocking stuffer, because it's not like a bow where you can't fit that in a stocking, but you can fit some of your sight pins and the Virtus and all that other stuff like right into a stocking.
Yeah, I mean we don't see a huge influx in sales in the month of December. I mean it's more January, February, kind of really when things start to tick up for us, because by then in a normal year, I wouldn't use that word, but in a normal time, the new bows are shipping by January, and then the guys and girls coming into the shops to pick them up, and they want new sights for them. So we don't see a huge holiday sale going on, but January, February, March is kind of our first big push for the new year. So we're excited to get on top of things. We're still running a little bit behind, but we're getting dialed in. I think by January 1st, we should hopefully be on top of things where we want to be, and hopefully start shipping on time. People are used to a lot of us. So
yeah, I think so many folks are used to it. The delay in shipping, everything's delayed. It's interesting. The Christmas thing though, for I run the OKS Hunter, and I get to see all these stats on the back end for like the e-commerce store, and I also had the the privilege of writing out all of the addresses to save some money and do it myself, and I regret that. My hand still hurts from writing that many card addresses. But the number of females that were ordering product over the last month or two, maybe it's for them. However, the color choices and sizes might suggest that I think a lot of gals are buying stuff for their significant other as Christmas gifts. I have to make some assumptions. Sure. I'm almost, my wife said, "Oh my God, you're going to sell these cards with these people." And they're going to be like, "Why do I have a card from OKS Hunter?" I just was thinking like, okay, well, man, I should have been considering other stuff. Like, you guys should be on some list for stocking stuffers for the holiday season, because it would totally fit. And it's a great idea to consider because it's the end of the season kind of, and it's a great thing to enter the new year with as a new sight pin, I think. So if anybody's listening and you haven't bought a Christmas gift yet,
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I would hope you do it. I hope you wouldn't.
No.
Oh man. Wow, an hour goes quick. It's already like 10:02. Although it's kind of short hour because we started late because I'm an idiot over here with the new computer. So, are there any
no time? Definitely flew tonight.
Are there any other updates, that it's worth mentioning to folks while we got you here?
We did launch a new, I don't want to call it a new line because it wasn't a lot of products, but we did launch some new apparel back in October. I think it went online. So we got 3 new hats. I think we got 2 or 3 new t-shirts. We got a really nice, kind of a thin weight thermal hoodie, kind of a army green with a cool HHA logo with I think it's a deer or an elk skull on it. I've only worn mine once, but so if anybody, I can't guarantee you'll have them in time for Christmas. I think I just saw something online today that those orders are coming up soon, but some new apparel, and I'll actually be working on, but right now we've got one HHA USA hat and 1 t-shirt, but I'm going to be working on a couple new things for 2021. Because all the profits from our HHA USA stuff go back to HHA USA. So that stuff's been selling pretty well at our shoots and online. So just going to be adding some more stuff to that. And
the hats are sweet.
Also getting requests for I like them. I like the look of them. The only thing is I like a mesh back hat, especially for summertime. So I think we're going to gravitate towards something like that for our second HHA USA hat. So kind of that Richardson style maybe, but we'll see where that goes. It's on my honey-do list. I haven't gotten there yet. I got a catalog to get out and packaging to work on, so it'll be coming. We'll definitely have those by the time that first shoot rolls around in May. So
I don't know if this question is directed towards you or not, Chris. It might be. There's like some sort of commentary going back and forth here. I guess we'll just ask you the question: how far can you shoot?
How far can I shoot?
Maybe I should throw in the word accurately.
What's your comfortable accurate range?
My comfort zone for making a killing shot on an animal is probably 40 yards. I've never, being a Wisconsin guy, a flatlander, I've never done any out west hunting where I've had to extend my range much. It's only been in the last 3 or 4 years as I started doing these 3D shoots that I've started to shoot longer distances, and as you guys saw at Polonia there, we had that long shot, so that's always fun to do where we're shooting arrows at 75, 80 yards. But I personally, I'm not a good enough shot at that distance and not confident enough to shoot that far at an animal. So that 35 to 40 yard range is probably the outside of the extent of my comfort zone. I don't think I've ever killed a deer beyond about 25 yards with a bow. So, but I would definitely, if my buck walks out in the next couple of weeks here at 35 or 40 yards, I'll be confident enough to hopefully put a kill shot on it.
Nice. Yeah, the one I got was 35 yards, and I know that because I went and invested in a rangefinder after I missed the first buck I shot at. So not enough to use Greg's rangefinder.
Yeah, that's a tool that you've got to have to head into the woods. You should have. So.
Yeah, clearly I was a little late to the party on that one, but here I am. I've arrived. Yeah, and because I don't have a rangefinder, at the shoot in Polonia, I overshot quite a bit. I made some terrible guesstimation, and I think I went way over and killed a pine tree off in the distance. So that was embarrassing.
That's all part of the fun.
One of the guys that was shooting on one of the courses with us last year did that. And lost about a $25 arrow in the woods here in central Wisconsin that he wasn't too happy about. So
I was surprised we found the one I shot. I was like, oh, it's in the tree? Holy crap. So far. How far do you think that arrow went, Greg? 100 yards?
It went at least 90.
Yeah. Didn't go 20. Yeah, bull crap. But when that arrow went at least 90. A lot of trees killed that day, I'm assuming.
I would think.
There's that one spot where there was like a tree that definitely took some damage.
Before we headed out, there was a little bit of a storm that whipped through because when we were interviewing Chris, it started raining.
Oh, that's right, that storm that blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it blew up out of nowhere, and we ran out after talking and held the tent down and got monsooned on, and the wind was pretty wild, and then it backed off, and then everybody kind of went about their business of finishing out the shoot, And when we hit the course, it was towards the end, and yeah, that one particular spot,
two trees
two
fell
trees
over.
had fallen over.
Yeah.
So
Did as much cleanup as we could before the bugs got too bad, and
yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get you guys back on the circuit this year, whether it's coming back there or hooking up with us at another event. That was a good time. So
yeah, it was a fun getaway. It was nice. Again, it'd be nice if COVID wasn't, a thing, and we could have got out and done some more stuff in the area or what have you. But we were pretty recluse to our room and trying to, do all the best practices. But not a lot of stuff was open anyways, too. It's just totally different.
yeah, we're living in a different world. Hopefully soon we'll head back the other way. So
Yep. Well, Chris, thanks for guesting on the show. It's good to catch up with you, hear everything you guys got going on. We'll keep a lookout for January and the new product launch. And, we'll be happy to help promote that stuff too. Send whatever you got our way. If you get any marketing materials, we'll be happy to share it with our listeners and followers. Help drive some stuff your way too.
no, that sounds great. And when that new stuff does drop, I'll get some of it into your guys' hands so you can get it on your bowl, and then we'll do a giveaway with one of your listeners again and let them have one too. So
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the live feed. Hang out with us for a minute. We'll do a quick debrief. And everybody that tuned in, thanks for asking questions. Some good ones came through in the comments, and I think there's a couple of other conversations going on there amongst yourselves. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we love the interaction, so keep it up.